Hi, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. Today, I want to talk a little bit about accountability and as far as witchcraft goes. On face value, I think we all kind of understand, owning your magic, owning, the energy, your vibration that you're emitting around others into the universe because, it comes back to you. That's what we never typically know, right, about witchcraft or law of attraction or basically just sort of universal law in a way. And all that's true, all that's valid. However, to take it a step further, sometimes I think we kind of forget about accountability, specifically when what we're doing, magically speaking, workings and spells, charms, whatever you're doing, how it actually affects other people. And this is going to be a topic where you kind of have to feel like you already are you you're good in your magic. You know how to do spells. You've had at least a successful spell, hopefully several, for you to totally get this. If not, just store it for when you get to that point. And here's why. For those who know how to sort of wield their magic, know how to, do successful workings, they've had results, tangible results from the things that they've done, no matter how small, whether it was a spell to find a parking spot, whether it was a spell to find a job that they liked, because sometimes you can find a job, you might not like what you find, or a spell, for something bigger, money, trips, stuff like that, just opportunities to grow a business, and it worked. With especially if you did a spell within a certain time frame, I think that's those measurable, tangible results. Uh, when you have had success doing that type of magic, when you venture out into doing workings that involve other people, so typically love spells, guys, that falls in that category. Accountability, taking ownership, understanding that there are some of us out there who honestly just and I see it. There is a disconnect that just because you want it doesn't mean you will have it or should have it. That's something we have to come to terms with because right now I think that the popularity with law of attraction and kind of new age philosophy is this concept that if you want it, you can have it, whatever it is. It sometimes, for some people, it represents people. It's a person, and maybe you can't have it. Maybe you shouldn't if they belong to someone else, or they don't mean you well. They don't mean you well, but you still want them for whatever reason you've concocted in your head. When things backfire, because they will, you need to take accountability, learn, apply what you've learned, and move forward and not do that type of stuff again. Yet, I don't think a lot of people take that approach. I don't think they're seeing it quite that way. Um, for some people, or before I even get into that and break it down further, let's give another example. So that's somebody you want, someone you don't want, or someone you want something to happen to. Putting them in a jar, that's some hoodoo, right? Most of the people, the energy that you are using to do that sort of work, honestly, you could be doing that to better yourself so that person is never even in your lane. They're not even around you because you're so far past them, above them, however you want to look at it, that they won't even be an issue for you anymore. Put the energy into yourself rather than focusing on that person. So let's say you do this jar spell or some sort of banish spell or whatever, or revenge hex revenge spell on this person, um, and it works. Things really, life sucks for this person. They got fired. Let's say it's a work issue. They end up getting fired or demoted or put on some sort of leave. Basically, they're no longer in your path. So that spell worked. The thing about that is I'm not even going to get into the issue with that person and deeper meaning on why maybe they were doing certain things to you. Maybe they have some problems going on and are acting out. That's an obvious one. How about what did that person contribute to your company? Did they have somebody that they worked with who really relied on them? Were they an asset to the company itself, to a department, a group of people, or a person? Did they have some value there that is going to be really missed because you had a personal issue with them, or you felt like it was a personal issue that could get in the way of work, or you just couldn't stand them because they always had something to say, whatever the issue is. There could have been a better way to handle that. Again, accountability. So now this person's out of the way, you're spelled work, you got what you wanted for your needs, but what about the larger issue? I'm just gonna keep giving examples and I'll wrap this kind of up. Another thing, you're in a relationship. So you're in a relationship. This works male or female. It's happening. The relationship's been going on for some time. You guys hit a bump in the road, and it gets to the point where in relationships, as someone who's been married for quite some time now, and I have been married before. Unfortunately, hopefully you master this and you don't go through it, but you go through patches of not dry, not dry. Well, you could go through dry patches, but you go through some stuff where maybe for a period of time it's just a lot of it's not good. Every time somebody says something, it's like what, it's taken the wrong way. Like it for some people, it could be a couple period of time, could be a couple days, weeks, months. Some people could be a year or several. But either way, if you've been in any relationships, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Where it's like it's just unnecessary tension because neither person wants to give, whatever that means. We get petty. Unfortunately, it happens, right? But anyway, and this happens, I think, in any type of relationship if you just spend a lot of time with people. But I digress. So you're going through something. Let's use this example. It's one of those periods of time where it's like, some people break up because they just can't get through it. But for whatever reason, you're still in this situation. It's been back and forth with this person, and the arguments. You're fed up because there's been just so much negativity brewing and pettiness. You reach into your bag of witchcraft, and you want to hex this person. This person you with, let's say you live with them, whatever. You want to hex them. You're not trying to kill them. You don't want to take them out completely because you still want to be with them, but you want them to sort of be taught a lesson. So you want to do something where things just don't go right for them that day. Just real petty stuff from a magical point of view. Again, accountability. So you need to own the fact that, let's say it works. Let's say it works. But because you're in this headspace too, where maybe you're not in your best, you're not making the best decisions, because you guys have been kind of back and forth over this period of time. So a lot of nastiness is kind of raised to the surface that really wouldn't be there. It should be squashed and just talk like adults, but no, that's not what's happening. So you've now hexed this person that you're in a relationship with. Now, normally, this person might have been able to bounce back from that and just take it, depending on what you did, as a bad day, or I'm just pissed right now, things suck, and just keep pushing. They don't act out, but because they're dealing with the relationship stress and all the tension, like you are, maybe they don't respond the way you think they're going to respond, and they blow up. Not necessarily on you. They lose their job because they don't have it together. They it's just too much, or they go off on somebody who really means something to both of you, or maybe to them, or basically they act a fool, act out in a situation where they shouldn't because it's just too much. They snap. Accountability, because you were part of the catalyst. Now, overall, maybe that person is wrong about everything. They're the reason everything's messed up in a relationship, but that hex was not the way to resolve it necessarily. And now you got to own that, right? You have to own your part in the whole picture, your piece in that part of the picture. So again, it's about accountability. All right, so those are sort of on the negative side, and I wanted to sort of touch base on that because I think people think about hexing and under the umbrella, I guess, baneful magic. When you think about that, you're thinking about your target. No, it's the collateral damage. if I'm hex because you can't stand me and you feel like I'm getting in your way and I'm a problem for you, and your hex is that I fail in whatever it is I'm doing, my work, whatever I'm doing, right? But what I'm doing benefits other people, so you're taking that from them. And when I mean benefit, I mean, let's say it's something I get money from. So I take care of my family. So now I'm in a pickle because I can't take care of my family because I got on your nerves, because I had too much mouth at work. I always have something to say, you know, or in a, like, again, the relationship thing. You could just leave this person. If you don't want to go through this, you could just leave them. You don't have to hex anybody. Because maybe you're collateral damage because it comes back to you, and not because of some karma stuff, just because of series of events. Meaning, you guys live together. This person loses their job. You got this place because both of you guys could afford it, or you're just on this person's income. You didn't think all that out because you were mad and you wanted to get back at them. And since you practice witchcraft, you chose that as a means to get back to them. So it's now come back to you. The karma thing, that's another video, that's another discussion. So we'll just keep it here. If you want to work that into it, you can. Because not everything comes back to you negatively, and or not in the obvious way. Maybe it's in a way that you feel horrible because you're seeing the effects of all the stuff you've done. Maybe a little guilty. But anyway, accountability. That's how it works. So when you see this, you have to take ownership. It doesn't mean you have to walk over to the person and say, hey, by the way, I hexed you. That's why all these horrible things are happening to you. Especially if it's that co-worker situation. Actually, you might not want to do that with somebody you're in a relationship with who maybe something disastrous happened because of your hexing. Maybe not a good idea to follow up with that. I would hold off. Maybe at some point you can tell them, maybe not at first, because male or female, you ruin, people's livelihood, that's a big deal. So maybe wait, hold off until maybe they find another job or things are a little bit more settled, uh, before you bring that up. But accountability would be you recognizing your part in it. As with anything, not even just in magic, arguments, whatever, what was your part? Because it took two people to kind of go back and forth, right? What was your part? What did you do to maybe exacerbate the situation? Learn from that. Don't do it again. That's how accountability works. It doesn't mean recognizing it and then making excuses saying, "Oh well, but he or she did this first," or "but I know." But if you're adding a "but" at the end, or "well, how come he does this," or "why did he get the," or "she did," no follow up questions. Own it. Let it sit in the pit of your stomach. It's gonna feel bitter and sour because you did it. Let it sit, understand what's happening, and then learn from it. Release that. No, okay, I don't like the way that made me feel. I know, regardless of the what my catalyst was, that's not cool. It's not okay. Let me take a different approach. Now, using some of those examples, let me tell you how you could avoid that. Coworker situation, always got something to say, gets on your nerves. You were late a couple times. They couldn't wait to make it known that you were late, for whatever the reason was. Or they're just rude. They get on your nerves. You try to work with them and be nice, and they're just impossible. Those type of people exist, and they're gainfully employed. You just happen to work with them. They exist. Um, Instead of doing a spell for just the worst to happen to them, for them to get fired, you could also, if you work in a different type, a company who has different locations, maybe you do something where they get, to move away and then go to a different location. If you know, study your person. Okay, first off, back up. If you're doing witchcraft, know everything. Get to know their life. If they got pictures on their desk, they're married, and you know that partner works, maybe do a spell, they get an opportunity. Like, get real specific. Do more than one where various scenarios are taking place and you just put this energy out there. It's all really one thing that they go away, but they're still okay. Especially if this person has kids or somebody dependent on them. We don't want to see them fired. We just want them out of our hair, and that's cool. They, send them someplace else, but don't wish bad on them. That could be, again, speaking to those who have a little bit more experience with successful spells. You're gonna know how to do this. You're gonna know how to apply these different overlapping outcomes into a spell or several spells. You know how to do that. Now, the relationship situation. Hexing probably not a good idea, but I would definitely reach out for just healing energy for the relationship, however that comes in, and be a grown up and understand that might mean maybe this is not just a rough patch, and you need to separate from this person because neither one of you are bringing out the best. Because if you're going to hexing, this person is not bringing out the best in you. You see, so you need to. It's time to maybe take a break. Maybe it's time to end the relationship for a bit. Uh, you know, find out why you're so quick to go to that part of yourself as somebody you supposedly care about. And if you're living together, you probably are in love with them or was at what point. Um, Maybe it's a break that's needed, or maybe it's he just heal. Like I said, healing takes different forms. Whatever it takes, resources. Look for resources. Use witchcraft to help you find resources to help mend your relationship. Is there somebody you guys can talk to? Couples counseling. Is there somebody you guys both respect and you kind of want to meet with them and let them, somebody impartial and they talk with you guys, or somebody you both trust, regardless of their relationship connection to either one of you. Maybe have a conversation, or maybe you guys just want to try to just tackle it on yourself. If this person is aware that you practice witchcraft, maybe you can do some sort of a ritual, and they know things are really kind of sucking right now in a relationship. They might want it to work it out too, and not, but you don't know how to get out of this space without with egos involved, without giving up your stance. Excuse me. Bless me. Anyway, maybe it's the incense. I love the smell, but it's a little thick, But anyway, yeah. So maybe you want to do a ritual. Use the witchcraft in the opposite direction for your true desired outcome. Your true desired outcome is going to be want to heal this relationship, however that means, or if you want this relationship to work out, but you don't like feeling that you feel put down, disrespected, and maybe the other person's feeling the same way. Work on some sort of spell to resolve that for both of you. Use the energy that way, and again, any situation where you want to kind of go into that other direction. It's not even that I'm against doing that type, but I would want to kind of exhaust all resources. I need a good reason to use that type. To use my energy to raise energy. In that direction, to want to get back at somebody. I need a good reason. And a good reason is not because you made me sad or you made me unhappy. First of all, I'm responsible for my feelings. I take accountability for my energy. So if there was an event and that was my reaction, that's still on me. Because there's other things that happen and I don't have that reaction. So, it doesn't work that way. Now, somebody hurts you intentionally and they have the intention of probably hurting more people or coming back to hurt you. Yeah, I get that. Yes, do something. You're a witch, practice your magic. Do everything, the mundane stuff, the police, everything, and then add a layer of magic because that person, we're past the point in that scenario. Oh, well, what if they're going through? I don't care if you're going through something. You don't get to hurt me. You don't get to intentionally plan out to hurt me and hurt others. That's not okay. We're not doing that. But again, take accountability. But the later part of this conversation, where I'm talking about the alternatives you could do, that comes from learning to take an account of maybe your part in a situation, the workings that you did that maybe weren't to anyone's real benefit, right? And understanding maybe that's not the best approach, and then applying those lessons. And then the next time, because it's life, you probably will have a similar situation occur, using a different approach. That is how accountability works. Um, One more thing on this whole topic. If you are finding that you are constantly feeling victimized, whether it's people at work, people in your family, friends, strangers, whatever the situation, you feel like you're in this loop and you are trying to take in account what energy am I doing or bringing that's attracting this, people who want to seem to do something to me or take something from me. Um, Focus your energy on yourself. Definitely some self love spells because you might be sending out victim mentality, victim type of energy. Uh, this is not just a magical thing. I remember having therapy some years ago, and this came up in the conversation. I'm talking to the therapist, and um, I was talking about a relationship that I was in. I had just started, and because at this point I was a single mom and I had two kids, and I was like, I'm very concerned about bringing someone into our lives that can hurt us. Like, what should I be looking for? That might hurt. Do something to my kids or my son. I don't want to bring an abuser in. And I was told a few things, but one of the things that the therapist went into was how it is true, there are people who they tend to pick the same type of, they could move to a different state, a different country, they will find an abuser. And you're like, well, what is it? How do these people find each other? They basically are bringing a certain vibration wherever they are, and those abusers, they pick up on it, and that's how it starts. They just know. Um, it's crazy because it makes you wonder, well, am I somehow doing that? Well, if you're not being abused and you don't have prior situation, and maybe you had one but you never had again, you fell for somebody who really wasn't a good person, uh, but you learned and you moved on. As long as you're not constantly attracting these type of people in your life, then yeah, you got the lesson. You're not bringing that vibration. But if you are, you really need to kind of, that's shadow work. Definitely, you got to dig deep because there's something in you literally attracting it. Even if you don't think that you are, you are, and you need to get to the bottom of that, because who wants to live their existence as a victim? And then there's perception. Maybe it's not that deep. Maybe it's just your perception because you're lacking in some other capacity, not getting enough of something or didn't get enough of something. So you tend to find situations where you're always going to be a victim because you're going to perceive yourself to be one. And again, that's more shadow work, but I digress. Accountability. Take accountability, learn, and apply. Some of us understand that maybe we didn't do right. We might be willing to admit that, but we won't apply it in future. We just keep repeating the same process in the next situation, in the next relationship. So, just wanted my thoughts. I wanted to share on accountability, and kind of from a more nuanced perspective, not just on your target. Hopefully, this is helpful. So, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please like. Again, I'm Mika. This is Leap Taken. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did. And if you have, again, thank you very much. All right, thanks for watching.